episode of Chatty Broads with Becca and Jess.
Well, hello,
Hi, broads.
I'm going to get right into this because on the podcast
Don't interrupt,
today,
Annie.
Don't say
so
anything.
much
Do
already.
not
I can't even believe how much you interrupt.
The people are going to get
Hold, like, 2
triggered.
minutes.
They're going to be upset. Let me give an intro, okay? We have comedian, one of the hosts of Trash Tuesday podcast, also so hot. My God.
I was thinking the same thing about you.
Oh, jeez. Keep going.
You know, hot moms too. It's like
thank
changing
you.
the. I thought you were all supposed to have like, you know, boy haircuts. And,
Well, I did.
Yeah, we
I
both
already
did.
did.
Oh, you
that.
did actually, but didn't you like grow out of it? Didn't you mother yourself into long hair?
Literally, that's true. While I was pregnant, I started growing out my pixie cut. I was just talking about the day how ugly I was with my daughter because I was growing out the pixie cut and I had like the
You told
mullet
your daughter you were
thing.
ugly?
No, not my daughter. I was telling somebody else.
Your daughter's gonna
But
be
I will
in
tell
there.
her.
Your daughter's gonna be like,
"Girls, steal
"I'm
your
ugly."
beauty.
Your daughter's gonna be, I'm ugly. You're going to be like, where'd you learn that from? I learned it from you, Mom.
No, she already goes.
Just a mirror of who you are.
She's so cute, sweet. She always goes like, "You're so beautiful."
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
But she says that about we're getting our house redone right now and we are like sanding our door down and our handyman really jacked it up. It looks like someone was like a demon was clawing trying to get into our
Yeah.
house.
God.
And she comes in and she up to it and she's like, "Mom, wow, like who painted the door?" Like your credibility is shot. bitch.
Also, don't say this in front of the motherfucker. We need him to do a better job.
Well, he broke. Oh my God, Brian update. Oh my God, our handyman is wild. His name's
Yeah,
Brian. He just broke his back in Texas, and meanwhile he's texting me being like, "I'm sorry, I can't finish your deck." And I'm like, "Brian, don't worry about it. You broke your back in 4 places in Texas." Granted, I don't know why he drove out to Texas to get a truck when he was in the middle of trying to finish my deck.
How did he break his back?
Got in a car accident.
Oh no.
Poor
Where
Brian.
in Texas is
Pray
he
for
now?
Brian.
Is he
I started
still,
GoFundMe
is he
for
still in
Brian.
Texas?
No, he just came back yesterday. He's
Where
like, "But I
was he?
can't." He literally texted me. I don't know. He texted me. He's like, "Sorry, I can't finish your deck because my back." And I'm like, "No, Brian, I'm not expecting you to finish my deck."
What if it was him coming out to you? Who's like, I was like in a place where they have a lot of horses. I was like broke back. Like there was a mountain.
This man he lives in a full-blown like a bomb shelter.
Oh, I
in
didn't
the middle
know about
of
that.
Oh
I do
yeah.
know it has no electricity and lives in the high desert.
Yeah.
And you both know about him.
Yeah, because we brought him on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
We
Is
had
he
to
hot?
talk to him. I mean, if you're into like 75-year-olds,
Oh, okay. He's an elder.
He sells
no-
broke his
$25
back?
ounces. So
Of course he does.
Yeah.
I knew this man before you told me about him. Is his ass crack out when he's cleaning?
Always.
Yeah.
oh God,
always. And then
So
people on
good.
Instagram are like, "Why don't you tell him to pull up his pants?" I'm like, "Because that's his brand."
And also, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
He's great.
also,
My first memory of laughing was when I was I had like a daycare in a church, and they were building new stuff in the playground, and the fucking guy's ass crack was out, and I just remember like, you know, just that
joy.
you're like hiccups, like I was like dying.
it's pure bliss.
And I'll never forget that. And going in and seeing I had a boyfriend, Christopher. I saw his poop. He was a ginger. I was into gingers.
Are you okay now?
Yeah. He just showed me his log. There was no, rubbing or anything weird.
Okay, I have to say, I went on your Wikipedia last night and it looks like you went in there and wrote it yourself. I'd like to start this out
No.
with the intro because the journey, I was reading it out loud to
Wow,
Gray and I'm
wow.
like, wait.
Go read my bio that my agent sends out. That sounds like shit. I wrote that.
Okay.
It sounds crazy and clunky, and
Well, this does sound crazy, not clunky.
I know.
Raised as a Quaker,
Yeah.
trained to be an Olympic swimmer,
Well, I got in a car accident.
I'm
Yeah.
getting there.
Okay. We call it getting in a Harry. What's the guy's name?
And Brian?
Butcher. We're getting in a Brian.
Yeah,
Getting in a
Brian. Hopefully he can still work on my house once his back
he's
heals.
fucking 75 years old. Is his back gonna heal?
I know. I feel like Brian will be okay.
I think he's
a survivor.
He
Bounce
smokes
back.
weed. He's
Yeah, he's
relaxed.
fine.
He's
He's
relaxed.
fine.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, anyway, but that you didn't recover and you couldn't keep training as an Olympic swimmer because of your foot or ankle or whatever.
I could have kept going, but I smoked cigarettes. I was trying to make out with boys. There weren't that many hot guys on the
At your
team.
continuation high school.
At my bad kid school.
Oh, yeah.
I think the reason it's so thorough is I think someone listened to my Mark Maron episode.
Oh.
They got all my molesteds in and stuff.
Okay.
They got all my
That's
diddles.
all in the wiki.
It's so
You know,
dark.
it's all on the wiki. And then
you're
dark.
like this
And then
is
it's about-
really fucking vulnerable.
and then you're
You're
yeah, it is a lot. And then the trial in high school, and then after that, you went dolphin training in like New Zealand or some shit. I was like reading through this. I'm like, wait, what?
In
This is the
Hawaii,
most
all the
interesting
dolphins
woman in
are
the
dead.
world.
All the dolphins are dead. Hawaii, Koala Basin Marine Mammal Lab, they all died years ago. There were 4
Really?
dolphins. 1 died of stomach cancer and the rest died of broken hearts. I think they just were taken out of captivity.
Oh my God.
I always think about how they're just dead, you know? Just dead ass dolphins.
Sad.
Yeah, they're gone. They're gone. Did you guys ever see the episode of when I found out that the guy who fingered me on an airplane was dead? I found out live on air.
No, I didn't
was
get
in
to that one
shock.
this week.
I was too. I couldn't believe it.
If I was
like,
in
pull
shock,
a
I
picture
would
of
imagine.
this guy. He's ridiculous.
Wait, by the way, does that count as the Mile High Club? Do you think?
I would say
Do you
it's
guys
like
say
the mile like junior high club.
Uh-huh,
You know,
that's
it's
good.
like a little.
Yeah.
Isn't that technically a
take that,
sexual
sort of.
act? Yeah, I think it's a Mile High Club. I think
Yeah.
you made it.
I would 100% count it. As
We
the
weren't
Mile
on
High
about. It
Club.
was just we just had one of the blankets. They
Right.
still gave
Oh,
blankets
yeah.
then.
Right. They don't do that anymore.
And now
do
he's
they?
dead.
And you found out.
Wait, yeah, wait.
live.
Well, how did you find out live what happened?
We were just on the podcast, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I hooked up with a guy on a
And
plane
you're like,
once."
did you go to look him up?
Yeah, because he was like in a band that did like cover songs and stuff. So there were so many funny like promotional shots of him where he was like shirtless. Like he was like low key looked like Channing Tatum a little bit, and he had like a cheek piercing, and he was like a hot guy, but he was a little ridiculous, you know. And so I liked showing the picture of him because it was funny. And so I was like, pull it up. And then Carlos, the guy who works on our podcast, was like, it says he's dead. I was like, he's not dead. He's like, it says he's dead. I go, oh shit. But then I was going to go to his like funeral. And then he had unfollowed me. We kept in touch.
Wait, so he had just passed when
He had just
looked him
died
up?
we killed Ray Liotta too. We made fun of Ray Liotta and he died like moments later.
Oh my
And then
God.
but the episode came out
It
like
came out after. People were like, damn, they're gangsters.
Like, why are they going in on Ray so hard? You're like, this was
I think
recorded
so
before.
in
That's the thing about podcasts. Sometimes you record like a week in advance and then things happen.
Oh, I like that you talk to the camera because I feel like people forget, like, we are here for you.
I just have to have an office moment sometimes.
No, I do it
It's
all the
just,
time.
You know.
People used to get mad in the comments, which
Do you read them?
I do sometimes.
You read the YouTube comments?
I mean, it depends on where I am in my emotional state.
I don't read the YouTube comments
where
as a
do you
general
find-
They're
rule.
not nice. There's no one, not that, well, I guess they're nice.
Sometimes they are, actually.
I was going to say, where do you find the comments to be the most brutal? Like what
I mean,
platform?
Reddit, they're really, but
God.
Reddit, you have to really search. Like, Reddit, you're cutting.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm
Yeah,
ready.
no, you're like
going deep.
you're
I
going.
gotta feel.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess I try. It's like when I quit smoking cigarettes when I was in high school. I had my juvenile delinquent school had like a smoking court. And
Wait, why'd you go to the juvenile delinquent school?
Because my parents didn't know what it was like to have a girl. It was like so crazy. Like looking back, my dad will be like, you know, you were just like a really difficult kid. I'm like, there's no way I was that difficult. I'm like, was it difficult to have you, a little you looking up at you? Like, you're a difficult bitch. But I was just a girl. I don't know. They just like didn't, and I just like didn't, you know.
But you
I
were like
like
training to be an Olympic athlete.
I know, but then I was like smoking cigarettes and stuff. But then they put me with all the bad kids. Like I wasn't kicked out of like
you weren't
most
a
of the
bad kid
kids.
till you went and hung with the
Then
bad
I got
kids.
real bad, yeah. Well, because it was like, what are you gonna? I was
Wait,
still
you got
better
kicked
than the
out
rest
for
of them.
smoking cigarettes?
I didn't get kicked out, but everyone else had gotten kicked out and sent to that school. And my parents were like,
it was
"We
a
like the art
preemptive
program."
action.
And my parents were like, the art program's cool. Our teacher's the one
Is
that
she smoking
on
cigs?
me. Yeah, he Jackson Pollocked me.
What happened to the Wikipedia didn't say what happened with the trial.
It wasn't good. It was
Okay, we don't need to go there.
No,
we can go back to the
it's fine.
Dolphins.
We've worked through. The Dolphins are dead. Listen, everything dies, guys. No, but he got like 3 years probation. My parents did a settlement. His lawyer was my softball coach. The whole thing was crazy.
What the fuck?
So his lawyer just like manipulated my parents pretty much. Was like, this is better for her. Which maybe it was. Who knows?
I mean,
But who cares?
Holy shit! Did you have to still keep going to that school?
Well, I was graduating then, and he got fired. But he he quit. I think he got fired for throwing. He was like a bronze casting teacher too, so he did like the glass blowing and the bronze casting, and he had made like a fist in bronze, and I think he threw that at Bill at the science, was he math or science teacher, who was the disciplinarian, who I always thought was like the good teacher because he never hit on any of us or anything, and he like actually gave us structure. And then articles came out, kiddie porn.
Oh my!
So we just weren't as tight. We're too old.
oh my god.
My school's I went to a Diller school. Diddler on the roof.
That is terrible.
Yeah.
God.
But you're better now.
Made me funny. What if I started crying? What if I was like, no, No, I'm fine. It's funny. I don't know. I think I was given those experiences so I could then really make a lot of light about them and go on the road. And I have so many molesteds in my audience. I'm like, come to me, my
Well, I was going to say
molested.
also on your guys' podcast too, I know Kalila's had similar experiences. So it's but there's so many people who there's healing going on because you both are so vulnerable about it and just,
we just laughed.
I want to talk about how you guys connected.
We connected.
I followed her.
Okay, yeah. So we saw each other at the Comedy Store.
Yes. And so.
And I don't know the timing of it. Was it right after the episode had come out or? Was it the mere mention of Becca and The Bachelor? Was it I watched all The Bachelors. I used to do Bachelor recap.
Yeah.
That was my first my first paid job was doing Bachelor recap videos for
Really?
The Daily back in the day.
Can you believe?
I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
That wasn't on the Wikipedia.
As soon as we met.
Because I really thought you could say things that you cannot say now. But also, whatever, find them. I don't care. Go look for them. It was for Fox had an app on there that came out with the first original iPad called The Daily. And then it was subscription based. And it was when everything was free and everyone's we're not paying for this anymore. But it was a newspaper that came on your iPad and I would do all these recap videos and they paid me $500 a week. I was oh my God, I'm fucking rich. Holy shit. I couldn't believe it. I quit my waitressing job, but it was fun. I used to do them. I would go watch the show on Monday nights. And then in the commercial breaks, I would write jokes and then I would deliver them to prompter and sit with the editor and stuff.
That's dope.
Isn't that so funny though?
So you were basically I'm into the Bachelor world, and so you were
they brought me. I'd watch it with my mom and stuff, and then so I got I was diligently watching it as a job, and then I just stuck around.
Okay, broads, quick pause, friendly little PSA for all you lovely listeners. It's about to be peak summertime weather, which means it's going to get hot, so do yourself, let's be real, the others around you too, if we're being honest, a favor, and make sure you've got that good deodorant that will keep you fresh this summer. My personal favorite is always Native. Not only is Native the best deodorant I've ever used, it's also natural, and as someone who's tried a whole lot of natural deodorant brands, I'll just say that not all are created equal. A lot of them just do not keep me smelling fresh, or at best lasted just a few hours. But not Native for me, baby. Native deodorant comes in a ton of great scents like coconut and vanilla, eucalyptus and mint, lavender and rose, and is formulated without any aluminum or parabens and is 100% cruelty-free, all while keeping you smelling fresh for 24 hours. And just recently, Native made their deodorant even better by releasing their already best-selling deodorant in brand new, totally plastic-free and recyclable packaging. In fact, when you buy plastic-free Native deodorant instead of deodorant in traditional packaging, you're saving 37 grams of plastic with each purchase, which ends up having a huge impact over time. Ready to try plastic-free deodorant? Go to nativedeo.com/chatty or use promo code chatty at checkout and get 20% off your first order. That's nativedeo.com/chatty or use promo code chatty at checkout for 20% off your first order. So when it comes to my ideal dinner, I need it to check a few boxes. First and foremost, it's got to be convenient, but it can't just be that. Otherwise, well, your girl would be ordering takeout every night. Hello. But no, my ideal dinner is convenient, tastes amazing, and is good for me. The only company that consistently checks all three boxes is Green Chef, America's #1 meal kit for eating well from the comfort of your own kitchen. With 24 ever-changing recipes to choose from each week, you're always guaranteed to find something that sounds good to you. The other night, I had the steak and buttermilk squash salad, and it was better than restaurant quality. And no, I'm not just saying that because I cooked it, okay? After you pick the recipes you want to eat, Green Chef delivers all the ingredients pre-portioned and partially prepared so you can whip up a delicious meal in just moments. There are options for keto, paleo, vegan, pretty much any other dietary values you can think of on Green Chef, so cooking something that caters to you or your family's lifestyle is a total breeze. And honest to God, ever since my family started cooking with Green Chef, I have surprised myself every single time. Tonight, we're going to be having the green pea falafel with tahini, and I'm literally already dreaming about it. The recipes are things I would have never thought to cook or thought I could cook, but because Green Chef does the dirty work for you, it's actually so easy to cook up restaurant quality dishes any night of the week. Go to greenchef.com/chatty130 and use chatty130 to get $130 off plus free shipping. That's greenchef.com/chatty130 and use code chatty130 to get $130 off plus free shipping.
Love
You're
it.
fucking fast. So
Yeah,
it's
you've got
like
a quick mind.
Easy is what they called it, but thank you. No, but it is like,
it is intimidating. It's like going toe to toe. I'm like, if I'm used to having people on my podcast who are, also good at podcasting, it's a whole different world than when I'm going to do rapid fire with you. I mean, I'm kicking
Why
back.
even attempt?
Yeah.
I don't have much energy anyway. I was just at a 3-day retreat, influencer retreat for 3 days.
Tell me more.
I'm drained.
What it was
Mommy
like,
influencers.
okay.
Not all moms.
Oh, I thought they were mostly all moms.
No, not all.
And were you invited? Was it an invite
so
only?
my
Okay.
management, shout out to Parker, love you guys. They're
Do you
like,
love your managers? I have no managers.
no, okay, I never thought I would love them. I've gotten so, in fact, one of my previous managers ended up in the New York Times because she was like a scammer. Yeah, and she's trying to like sue them and say that it was defamation. That's not going well for her.
Johnny Depp.
She's trying to
us all sue for defamation.
She was trying to sue like Taylor, because Taylor Lorenz, like or however you say her name. I always see her in the comment section under everything on Instagram. But anyway, she wrote an article
Is
about.
that weird? I have no clue who that is, but you do like have.
Right.
There's someone that just you see every time.
Yeah, all the
But
time.
have you ever done a mass unfollowing? I did that recently.
Yes. No, you know what I do? I had a period of time where every day I would go through a different letter of the alphabet. So I go through all my A's that I'm following, then go through the B's.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
slowly be like, yeah.
There are so many people though that I want to unfollow that I don't
even follow Taylor
I just
Lorenz.
feel
She just keeps
bad.
You know what?
saying her
But you
name.
know what I do? I always go, am I following you for you or for me?
Yeah.
Am I following you for you or for me? And you can mute them, but it's an energetic thing. It's
Yeah.
about like having the balls to be like, what is like helping me move forward? Who are the people that make me feel good? Who are the people that like motivate me? But it's hard. Like I ran into this guy that is a Philly comic who I always liked. It's not that I didn't like him, but I hadn't seen him in 5 years. So I had a 5-year rule. I go, if I have not seen you in 5 years in person, we don't chat a lot. Like I don't need to. I don't need
Really?
updates.
I have people I'm obsessed with who I haven't seen since like high school, and I care about their kids and their house. I don't know why. Who still live in Fresno.
I would say that's how I felt when I saw him in person. I went,
Okay.
maybe I shouldn't have gone by 5 years because I do genuinely like this guy. And then I wrote him a thing and I was like, I followed him back and I was like, hey, I just did a thing where if I hadn't seen people for 5 years, I unfollowed them.
You
Like,
explained yourself
yeah,
before
and
he
then
even
he
asked.
like, didn't respond. He just left it on scene and I'm like, do I unfollow him again?
2 nights ago when I was at the retreat, there was like someone who wasn't at the retreat, and it was like an influencer that irks me, and I was like, so glad she's not here, so I don't have to like run into her. There were people at the retreat who I had unfollowed before, and then I had to refollow them at
Yeah.
the retreat, and I knew they knew because I was like, oh, you live in North Carolina now? I used to live in Florida.
Yeah.
You exposed yourself.
Yeah, whatever.
But then here's the thing, because the original follow is coming from like a weak place, right? The original follow was like,
That's true, and I was
want
actually-
to seem nice.
And do you know what?
I didn't vet them. I didn't go
Do you know
through
what's
enough.
so embarrassing too? I followed her because I wanted her to follow me back, and she never did. That's
Yes.
why I unfollowed her.
Oh, and do you get the people
isn't
that
that
follow and
so
unfollow you and
embarrassing?
follow and follow you and follow, and you're like, I see you.
Like I recognize who you are.
Sorry, the first time, bitch.
Okay, so here's the practice I've started doing now, or I started doing 2 nights ago. I lay in bed at night and I think of the person in my head, whether there's someone that I've always hated or I just have like beef with right now. And in my head, I think of them and I say, may you be well, peaceful, and happy. And I picture them in my head really happy and peaceful. And usually I picture them with like their spouse and they're smiling and like watching their children play in the yard. And then that's what I envision for them. And then it actually makes me smile thinking
You're
of
gonna
them
get some
happy.
money in the fucking mail,
And then-
bitch. You're gonna get some money in the mail for that.
Thank you.
No, you
Thank
really
you.
are. Like something, you're gonna get a check. The Lord pays you in.
Yes.
I keep saying Lord because I'm listening to this book it's called Florence Scovel Chin's, like her collected works or whatever. But so it's like all about what
Are you
we're
talking about
talking
actual
about.
financial compensation?
Money's gonna come to you from that.
It
yes.
always does.
Yes. No, it does. When you're
She's like,
like
it's
when you
endless.
give up. Well, also just knowing it always does makes you so rich.
You said that when on some podcast I was listening to, and I told Gray, and he started laughing. He's like, "That's funny." I was like, "No, she wasn't being funny. It's a real thing."
serious.
You said the way you talk to your money. You say you don't say, "Oh, I don't have enough of you." You say, "You know, what's that? What's the what?" Okay, to say that thing because I think it's good.
Well, because I have about 10 shamans, but this guy Jim Thornton is a guy that I'm like
Collection.
He's like my
Is
king.
it Thornton or Fortin?
It's Fortin.
Okay.
I know he got mad at me because I didn't spell it out on Rogan. It's like, sorry, I'll do it next time.
Jim Thornton's getting all the
I know.
cred. Meanwhile,
This is Jim Thornton, Billy Bob's brother. I met him once, by the way, Billy Bob Thornton.
Really?
Yeah, he was so weird.
do you know who I met? Anthony Kiedis came up and blessed my baby at a sushi restaurant.
Oh, that sounds like something he would do.
Yeah.
What is he? I haven't seen him in years. What does he look like?
Looks good.
Feminine? Is he getting feminine? Is he getting that age? You know how guys just start to look like girls?
Mm-hmm.
Did you get there
Interesting.
yet?
I have never really thought about that or
Oh, they
noticed
lose their
that.
testosterone. Yeah, they start to look like women.
Love it. That's why I love the old guys.
Oh, I love a hot,
God, I love a hot
like
grandpa.
a hot, like little titties
Oh, yeah.
and shriveled up weenies.
yeah,
Ooh.
oh yeah.
Do you think that's why Johnny Depp's getting all the good press now?
Johnny, wow. Johnny couldn't have come out of this more on top. I mean,
I hate him.
more on top. Did he not win so hard?
Oh.
Have you hated him previously, or did the trial make you hate him?
It made me hate him. It was just petty to me, kind of in a way.
The
and I
whole
know a lot of people
trial
don't-
was wildly petty. Yeah, it
and
was.
I think that's just what bothered me. And I know people are like, it's not petty because like he needed to get justice for himself. But I'm just like, I don't know. The whole thing was, and now he's on TikTok, which is so embarrassing.
Yeah,
That's so embarrassing.
it
Did
is.
you
He's
see
old.
that?
That's embarrassing.
That Brad Pitt is now suing.
Yes!
Wants a public trial
about
to
their
sue
French
Angelina.
chateau. I'm like, stop. You guys are rich as fuck. Go take your problems to a therapist like a normal person. Stop putting it on display and being petty trying to ruin your ex.
Yeah.
Even though she did that, whatever. It's still all just embarrassing to me.
It's just like, it just shows you're still tapped into it. You're still tied to it.
True.
It is crazy. No, I know, but it's like very like for men, they're like, finally, justice for men. You're like, okay, I'm happy for you. Good job, guys. Good work.
wait.
I have been raped in every hole several times.
Back to Jim Thornton. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Bring it back. Okay, so basically, if you treat money, if you have a relationship with money, and you,
As we all do.
right? But if you treat it like you're in an actual relationship, if you had a boyfriend and you were like, imagine if you actually had a boyfriend, you guys, lonely people. Imagine you have a boyfriend. You can. It's hard. And if you were to say to them like, "Oh, I don't have enough of you. I need to save you here so I don't lose you," or like, you know, all
You're
this
never going to
stuff.
be enough.
Yeah, you're not enough. This isn't, you know, like I want more of you. Like they would leave you. They would run from you. So you have to do that with money too.
No, you don't want to do that with money.
No, you have to do with money. You have to treat it like you love it. Like you have to be like, I love you. You're enough. You're amazing. I'm so happy you're here. Woo, I want to share you with my friends.
The other day my daughter lost one of her teeth, and so I was, you know, putting her to bed. We're gonna do the whole tooth fairy thing, and all of a sudden I walk back in to like put the tooth under the pillow, and she is sitting up in bed bawling. And I go, Ember, like what's going on? And she said, I'm afraid that I love money more than I love people. And I said, no. And I go, why? And she's like, because I'm way more excited about that money than about trying to find that tooth fairy.
Oh, good. Because there's something really sad at the end of that.
She's like, I feel really anxious about it. And I was like, well, I think if you feel anxious,
The
you're
self-awareness.
probably okay. But also she definitely like showered herself in the cash the next morning and like rolled around in
How
it,
much does the tooth go for these days?
Well, I just dug myself a hole. I put $10 under her pillow
I
once.
like that. Teach them about abundance, you know?
Here, take all of it.
I got a $50. I was like, what is this shit?
Did you get the 50 cent?
My dad would get the 50 cent
piece.
coins.
That's
I
kinda
just
cool.
didn't have any change. And so I was like, fuck. In the middle. And I'm like, oh God. I
Oh
only
my
have a
God,
10.
that's so funny.
So now
How
I'm
many
fucking
times kids
stuck.
are getting all these random different numbers depending on what's in your
Stuck
purse?
with 10. The second tooth she lost, I put a 5 under, and she was like,
No, yeah.
did I do something
Hello?
wrong to the tooth fairy? And I'm like, oh God, I got to keep doing 10.
Yeah, brush your teeth more.
Yeah. Sorry, honey.
Sorry, floss.
that wasn't as good of a.
This was a gross tooth, so it's just
There's
going
a little
down.
decay on it. You're very young for this.
Is it hard to get under the pillow?
A nightmare.
Because I have to say,
nightmare.
as a kid, I knew my parents. Did your parents tell you that Tooth Fairy or Santa was real?
No, my fucking dad lifted my head up. I was like this. I just like, and I like didn't want to. I
Look you
just,
straight in the eye.
I was just like, and then, like looking at him, and then I just like didn't want it to be over. You know, I wanted to believe that maybe something else was true. So I went. And I went back to sleep. And then my dad would walk to the train station in the morning. I like chased after him. Dad! And he went, what? And I went, and I chickened out. Like I wanted to be like, it was you. But I chickened out and I went, the tooth fairy only gave me $0.50. Like I made it about money, but I really was just devastated that it had all been a lie.
So they told you it was real. And Santa Claus too?
Yeah, eventually. I mean, my mom's handwriting. My mom, the other day, was when we were on family vacation, was like, no, I always made sure I did different handwriting. I go, bitch, it was your handwriting. I was like, mom's handwriting. Just say you're the one that makes the notes or something. Like, it's your fucking handwriting. I know her handwriting because I used to forge all of the signature. I used to memorize my mom's handwriting.
You're like, I know it through and through. Yeah.
I was like so obsessed with my mom. I was like, my mom. I want to write like her. Ah.
My mom taught me how to write, so my handwriting kind of looks like her, which is kind of cute. I
like it too. I'm always thinking like when my mom's dead, I'm going to be like, oh, I don't like saying it. When my mom has transitioned, when my mom is the wind.
My mom is the ink.
When my mom is the ink under which I quill. My mother is the feather and the quill. I'll be like, she's alive through her hand. Mom, don't go. But you can't treat your parents like money either, you know? You gotta just be like, do you fly free birds? My God.
Are you someone who gets like premonitions about things and like clairvoyance type thing?
I don't agree with that. No.
Why?
Unless it's good.
Oh.
I take on no negative things. Like when people
What do you mean you don't agree with it? You don't think it's a thing? Or what do you mean?
No. Just for myself, I just choose whether it's real or not. Like if I have a dream of like my brother, like I've had so many dreams where I like somehow like give like poisoned Xanax to my brother or something. I'm trying to help him and he's just dead. And I'm like, I got my brother. I'm like, I can't take that on. That's too much. That's like my subconscious is like, I look at that like my subconscious is going, relax. We gave you something crazy because to show you you're going crazy.
Well, also I was just going to say you can get kind of confused with your intuition versus the or like your anxiety and your intuition. And then you're like, is this a sign that my mom's going to die? Or I was going to say, I do that all the time where I'm like, that was the last time I was going to see my dad. He's going to get in a car accident right now. He's going to get in a car accident on his way home.
Is your dad a handyman?
No.
Yikes.
He's not.
Because of car accident.
Yeah, Brian.
Brian should have done a better job on the fucking door. Okay.
Okay. He'll be back. He's got to finish that up. I already paid him.
Listen, you're going to have to hoist him up. He's going to be in like a stretcher. You hoist him up. He's like this. You have to lift his body to paint it. But it doesn't matter. He will be the fucking one that does it. He will be. We all have celebrity doppelgangers.
Really? What's mine?
Yours is whatever the girl's name is that dated Ben Affleck. Yeah, she looks exactly like her.
What are you talking about?
The new biggest star, the girl who's in everything.
Ana de Armas?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know she dated Ben Affleck.
You looked so... Who did you think
I just didn't know.
For a second?
I just didn't know.
You were like, oh.
And you look like, what's her name? The singer, Jessie.
Jessie J.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always get
I
Jessie
look
J.
like the middle Hanson brother.
Do you still watch The Bachelor now?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah, I do watch it. But it's more out of like, I just want a show. I love reality TV, like big time fan. I like the editing. I like with the drama. I like when they catch people in real motion. That's so fun. It's because everything else is so like, everyone's scared of everything. But people will just straight up say the bad things and then get like fired from their jobs before they get back from Big Brother or whatever. So I'm like, at least you get to see but you know how like if people are writing scripts, they like make sure there's nothing problematic in it.
Right.
Yeah. It's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
I was just in Scottsdale this past few days on the retreat where Ari and Lauren reside from my season.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Lauren and I are cool now.
You guys are?
Yeah, we're cool.
Did you guys chat?
Because she's like a mom now probably, right? So she wanted to like talk to you about that or
Yeah,
no?
I still think we were a little rocky for a little bit there, but then she DM'd me several weeks ago.
What a weird fucking thing because you're all banging the same guy.
I don't know if you bang him. You only have the opportunity to have sex with the top three unless they like unless the producers literally like take you by the hand and lead you to their room.
But they're banging everyone, right? They're banging all three always, right?
Actually, no. There's a couple seasons where they didn't have like they didn't have sex with any of the three, or like only one of the people. I know Nick only had sex with
Caitlin, or what was the next season? Vanessa. Oh, right.
So you know, there's wait, no, wait. Caitlin wasn't on his. Oh yeah, he was on. I guess so
Caitlin's
mixed
season.
up.
He was on Caitlin's.
He only had sex with Vanessa. He didn't have sex with Raven or Rachel. So some people do. Sometimes people do that, which is smart, I guess.
It's all weird.
How do you think you'd do on the show?
I mean, I would imagine I'm the Bachelor. I can't imagine being in.
You're not going in as a contestant.
I'm a male Bachelor.
She's going straight to the.
I'm a male Bachelor.
No.
I don't think that would be my shining thing.
Really? What do you think would happen?
I think I would like not be into him.
I think honestly, you probably wouldn't even. They would like you'd be basically edited out and would go home like week 3.
Because I wouldn't. I don't think I'm not like good at like.
I feel like they'd keep you around for commentary.
I think you'd be actually.
You'd always be in the ITMs.
No, I was gonna say, or you might be actually be really quiet and you'd just be kind of sitting there watching everything.
What the fuck is going on? I never like think they're hot. I've never thought any of them are hot.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Not even one?
You're like, not even one? All right.
Nick Viola?
Nick was really the only guy that I ever thought was cute.
So before I knew that like, okay, I didn't know when I got off the show that people would send things to other people. I didn't like realize that was a thing.
So you
I
were
would
just trashing.
Yes.
Yes.
I was saying the meanest things about everyone on any podcast I would go on to. Because I would go on a podcast and I'd be like, probably like 200 people are going to listen to this. And the person's not even going to know. I'll just have fun right here with the person who's hosting it.
Really kind of become a thing.
I don't think. Yeah, true.
It was like,
that's
you
right.
really realized like the power of a podcast.
Baby form. You're like, I'm in a room alone with like 3 people.
Yeah,
that's all.
I think I even handled the beginning of our podcast like that too, where I literally straight up. Yeah,
we got
this one?
both of us did. Yeah, we got in a lot.
There was a couple times.
A lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, and you just forget. You're just talking.
Forget.
Right.
There have been times where I asked someone to bleep out my ex. She didn't do it, which was actually she just ignored me, and then it came out. But I said my ex-boyfriend's name so many times. And I was like, I don't want to even be like, so I just had that like podcast hangover, you know, when you're like, you wake up and you're like, what did I do?
Oh no. God.
And I was like, I don't want his fucking name out there. And so I asked her if I sent her a clip of me saying, leave Schreiber, if she would put that name over it.
funny.
And she just didn't respond, but fuck you. Thank you, girl.
So then what happened?
It just was out and nobody mentioned it and nobody cared.
Oh. See, that's the other thing. Sometimes you think something is going to matter and then it literally doesn't at all.
That is so true. Sometimes the things that I think are going to be like the biggest fucking deal don't hit. And then it's something I never noticed and be like,
field.
Oh my God.
That's, yeah.
Do you guys watch your podcast after you do it and give notes and take things out, or do you just go, we're good?
Jess usually reviews it.
Yeah.
I don't, because if it was up to me, I would not edit out anything.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'm afraid of the world.
It's fun.
I live in fear.
Where did you two meet each other?
Through mutual friends.
Yeah. It was, we had a couple friends who like would always get together. And then right before her episode, her season aired, I met her and our friends were like, she's going to be on The Bachelor.
Yeah.
And she was like, and I'm like, yes, I love the show. And so I wanted to know everything. And she was like, I think I'm going to be the villain. Like you you were like,
I think I was saying that to be modest. I don't know if I really thought
You're
that.
like, I'm going to be a star.
really? You were like,
well, I knew Crystal was going to be the villain.
Right. You were, I think, were nervous that you were going to like,
I do think I was going to look like
an
an asshole. I do think I was going to look really bitchy.
Because they were prompting you to try to like go after Crystal, the producers.
And I definitely, I was like the only person who was friends with Crystal, by the way, because I will say, if I am in a group of people and one person is
100%,
getting like everyone's like ragging on them, I do not like that.
Yes.
I can't handle that.
I hate it. It's so annoying.
And like everyone was just like, I'm not gonna room with her, and like she'd be all left alone. I'm like, dude, like now I gotta be friends with her. And then those people get all
paranoid. Like when people all turn on you, you're like. And then you have nothing else to do. You have nothing else to do but be like the most heightened version of the things they hate about you. There's nothing. I went on a trip. It was my old roommate. I'm no longer friends with any of these people on the trip, which is so hilarious. I'm totally fine with it. Completely at peace with it. Whenever I see these people, I'm like, what's up? Thank you. But so this girl had been my roommate and we were like best buds or whatever. And she wanted to have her birthday party in Palm Springs. So she invited like all these like, you know, and they were like cool girls.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about because I've been on a cool girl birthday trip to Palm Springs.
I just assume I'm the cool girl. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, but you guys are like a different type of cool, like they're stylists and shit, you know? So I go on this trip and I was broke. I was living at my friend's house with her husband in the Burbank Hills, like beautiful, weird place in Burbank where it's just like the most gorgeous houses. They just had this really nice place they just bought. And I had been staying with them for like 3 months. And this was like I was leaving. Like I was like, can I just leave my bag here? I'll come pick it up on the way. Like I was finally letting them live in their house alone. But I was going to go on this trip and I leave. And I get cluster headaches, and one of the things that you use for cluster headaches. Do you get cluster headaches?
She went to the hospital. They thought, she was like, do I have a brain tumor?
Do you get them for? No, you're dying. For
Yeah,
sure.
no,
For like, I'll get them for like a month.
Yes. Oh my God, man.
And she has such a high pain tolerance.
And
so when she was telling me,
nobody knows what it is.
dude, when she was telling me about the
tank's
pain,
impossible to get. How the fuck do you get an oxygen? I went ever. I was crying. I was like, oh my God.
It's like
I'm face down, ass up in public. Like I'm just like.
when she said she had to go to the hospital, like I knew she has such a high pain tolerance.
The best part is the hospital cannot.
Yes, she said that they were literally giving her injections of painkillers.
And then it makes it worse. You're like you have to take mushrooms is the thing, but you can't do meds and mushrooms. So if you start taking them, yes, you have to microdose.
You're like, no, you have to be just fucking
Which is
tripping for the month.
Listen, I'm more of a macro doser myself.
You're like,
but
just the
it's
nibbles.
interesting because my new shaman told me not to do psychedelics. So I'm wondering if he's going to let me do them.
I need to get in touch with this shaman. I'm terrified of psychedelics. What if he
I'll
tells
get
me
you
to do
on
it?
he probably won't because his whole thing is that when he was like 13 or something, he grew up in Mexico. His shaman made him like do all of the hallucinogens. So he can, in dreamland, he can take me to, in dream times, he can take me to the places that ayahuasca has taken me in the past.
What do you mean dream times?
Like I have like a thing that I put out like a cup and I have these candle ceremonies that I do. And then I get crazy dreams. That are like messages. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's really cool.
I've gotten prophetic dreams lots of times before, actually.
It's amazing. Like when you just get these dreams where you're like, oh, okay.
But my prophetic dreams are actually about like bad stuff, usually. I had a dream. Okay, this is kind of goofy, but in high school, I would always sneak out in the middle of the night and not do anything important, just smoke weed in my friend's Suburban down the end of the street. Yeah. But it was a big deal because my parents were really, really Christian and all of that. Anyway, so I had a dream one night that in my dream, I was looking down and the fire alarm in the house went off in the middle of the night and my mom walked into my bedroom and the bed was empty and she like knew I was gone and was freaking out. And I woke up and I told my sister and my friends, I was like, that was a warning from God. That was a warning that I need to stop. I'm going to get in trouble. And then sure enough, one night I was smoking weed at my neighbor's house in the middle of the night. Her mom had passed away. And so their house was kind of like a free for all. It was kind of sad, but it was like one of those houses where you'd be there at 3 a.m. So we were smoking weed at her house, sitting in the backyard, hitting the bong or whatever, and my sister texts me like, and
her mom comes
caps.
in, you're like, oh my God, you're still alive.
No, then my sister's texting me in all caps like, come home now, the fire alarm went off, like mom and dad, like you're not here, come home. So I jump over the fence, like I sprint to the back door and I like casually walk in the back door and my mom's like, where were you? And I was like, couldn't sleep. I was laying out on the trampoline, which is something that we would do. We'd go sleep on the trampoline. And she goes, with Ridge. And Ridge was like my gay boyfriend and his car was parked out right in front of the house on the street. And I was like, Ridge Riley.
Ridge Riley.
Oh, that's a hot
Where is Ridge
name.
Riley right now?
Now he's in Hawaii on like a commune.
Oh, good for him.
Right?
Yes,
he's living his
Ridge.
best spiritual life. He always replies to my stories and he's like, yes, sister, you're aligned in your truth. And I'm like, yes.
Oh, Ridge.
He was my first boyfriend and he was gay, but we had a special I was like his only like sexual relationship with a girl and it made me feel very special.
I loved those bi kids in high school. Got so much pussy. They were so cute.
Yeah.
They were so excited because you were like,
everyone was obsessed with me.
But me, is it my wide shoulders and small tits?
Oh my God.
Is it my pixie cut that
my
makes me look like a
small
boy?
breasts?
It's all I wanted was one of the bi kids to like love me. I'm like,
They
I
had
was secretly
eyeliner, which the thing is, guys look good with makeup, and it is good that guys are starting to wear makeup again. I do like that. I think that's cute.
Yeah.
And the nail polish and stuff. I mean,
love-
Todd would
you-
never
I
do
was
that.
so-
You also had a boyfriend who was gay, but you guys didn't have a
Yes.
sexual thing.
No, because we were good Christian children.
Yeah.
But no, I was like, I'm bi, but like at the time I couldn't like recognize that.
Yeah.
So like all I wanted was fucking attention from like a bi, like just
Yes.
one of the bi kids. And I
Yeah.
was so needy of it. Oh God, it was so desperate.
I
when
know,
look
isn't
back
it weird
now.
when you're like so like it's crazy.
like, please
Even
pay
like more
attention to me.
recently, like 3 years ago, the way I was with guys, I'm like, ugh. Oh my God.
Oh, that's like, give me a few too many drinks. And if like a guy who's super cute, I mean, this happened somewhat recently. I guess it was a couple months ago, but I was like at some bachelor type party.
Yeah.
And one of the guys from the show, I was following around like a puppy dog because I was super drunk. And when I get really drunk, I need to tell everyone how attractive they are. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. I need to tell you.
What's your line? Do you have a line?
I'll just be like, I just need you to know, like,
you're so hot. But then she kept going.
It's so nice
but then she kept going back up to him over and over again, being like, I just have to say, no, but then she was getting in her head and then she's like, was that weird? Like what I said that you were hot?
I was like, oh, I don't want to be like following it. I'm like, I'm so sorry. And then I'm apologizing and I'm just full spiral. It was just the worst.
I used to say things like, I had a line where I'd be like, oh my God. I go, holy shit. There's this one bartender. I go, oh, Andrew, damn. I was like, you are really hot. I was like, you're actually so handsome. I would like to get a tattoo of your face on top of my face so I could see myself in the morning in the mirror and know that I got it. Like I would just like lay game on him, but it was so like cartoonish that it wasn't
over the top.
But one time he like took me in the liquor room and like he like yanked my scarf because it was New York, you know, so I was always bundled up. And he was like, you couldn't handle me. And I was like, okay, bye. And then one day I saw him and I saw him in AA too, which was why I was like, didn't want to. But he would never give me free drinks. And this was like right before I quit drinking. So I was like my most wasted, like insane. And then I saw him and oh my God. I was like, Andrew.
Hi.
You grew a beard. I grew a problem. Look at us here.
Okay, broads, one more quick pause. So one thing about me is I love a good podcast. Of course, I'm biased because my favorite podcast is this one, but I have at least 5 others in my rotation at all times. If I'm on a walk, I'm listening to a podcast. If I'm on a long drive, I already have my episodes lined up and ready to go. Honestly, if I have 30 minutes in the morning while I do my makeup, there's a 100% chance that I have one of my favorites on in the background. And speaking of favorites, you have got to listen to Call Me Curious. It's seriously so good. Call Me Curious is a new podcast hosted by Nikki Boyer that answers all of life's burning questions. In today's world, we are being flooded with information all the time from every angle. There are so many times I'll see something online that is being widely accepted as a fact, only to do a little digging and figure out it's not all true. But that's why I love Call Me Curious so much. Nikki does the work for you. Each week she dives into something you've definitely heard of, but probably don't know a ton about, like what exactly is cryptocurrency? Oh, we'll talk about that. Or is breakfast actually the most important meal of the day? I've always wondered these things. Call Me Curious brings the research and facts to the table each week, guaranteed. So legitimately, the episode on cryptocurrency has saved me in so many conversations because there were a few weeks there where I swear that's all anyone around me wanted to talk about. But because it was so clearly explained to me on Call Me Curious, I actually felt like I could contribute to the conversation instead of just nodding along, which I'll admit was definitely my go-to when I didn't have a good handle on the topic, but not anymore thanks to Call Me Curious. Listen to Call Me Curious on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts, or you can listen ad-free by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app.
No, my mom is giving me a joke. You should do a joke about the dangers of elders texting while walking. And she sent a picture of my dad texting.
Oh, that's so cute.
I know.
That's so cute.
My dad, okay, so I go to a hypnotist, Mary Lou Rodriguez. She's a master hypnotist. She's like one of my best friends. I love her.
And you can
Do you guys have
hypnotize now,
therapist
too?
friends where when you're talking to them on the phone, they start to get therapist voice and then you're like, I think I have to send, you just Venmo them $50 or like, just, like it turns into a session when you're chatting with them. Like,
Yes, I have a friend that I always like, and then I apologize immediately afterwards. I'm like, I'm so sorry that I just dumped everything on you.
But it's
and
like too late. Like we've already dumped.
I'm
And
like,
then you're doing
so
the
now why am I
apology. And then they have to tell us it's okay.
I call probably about 12 people anytime I have anything going on in my life.
Yes.
I have to bounce it off of my mom, then and then I call my dad after my mom, then I call my sister, then I call my other sister, then I call my friend, then I call my other friend, then I do it to literally
And
like
then
so
does
many
your
people.
boyfriend hear you saying the same thing to 100 people?
Yeah, and then I have to talk to him about it for the 3rd time after all that.
My
too.
boyfriend will like give me the best advice.
Yeah.
And then I'll go, and then I'll call Bonnie McFarlane, Mary Lou. I'll call like, I just have to get, and then he's like, you just all day, you just say the same story all day long.
Yeah.
And then I always I go, you know what? I was listening to a Jim Fortin podcast and he said that and my boyfriend like, that is the advice I gave you this morning. I'm
You're like,
well,
but it's from you, so it doesn't
I know,
matter.
you love me. Get out of here.
I always come back to exactly what my husband says. I'm like, well, he's like, well, I do know you, so I can kind of gather what would work for you. And I'm like, but it can't come from your mouth. I have to hear it from all the
Whisper it
people.
to another person.
I feel like it always ends up
Write me
coming.
an anonymous note in my mom's handwriting.
There you go. I feel like it always ends up coming from me because I just need to say it a million times to process through. Like, I don't actually want anyone's advice. Like, the minute my sister will be like, well, I think, I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah, enough from you. Enough from you. So, okay, so my boyfriend's always like, don't read comments. I posted this like montage of him on his birthday of him just being so cute. And
he
of
went
course, he's reading all the comments. I go, see? Because I always told him, I go, if there was a place that you could go to where 97% of it is people telling you changed my life, you helped me like get through my trauma, you've taught me how to be myself, and then 3% is people calling you a fat cunt, like, aren't you gonna sift through?
Yeah.
But he was like, you wait till like fat cunt. And I go, you're right. I will go, I'll dig for the fat cunt.
You're scrolling past all the nice ones like, yes, I know. Pretty, funny, whatever.
Yeah, no.
It's all ego, but what a weird position we're in to be able to like.
My boyfriend doesn't look at anything.
Yeah.
Because he does one episode a week on our podcast. We do Chatty Bros with her husband and my boyfriend. It's cute. He just, like, Evan was like, well, what about like the messages you get? And he's like, I don't read them.
Yeah. Well, I turned off my DMs. I never read them now.
Yeah, I don't really ever look through the DMs anymore because I'm like, I'm looking for the exact thing. But no, Grayston is just able to be like,
just
fully
doesn't,
like, no.
doesn't care. Literally doesn't care.
Well, what I do is when I perform, when I'm on the road, I do like a really long meet and greet with everyone afterwards. And that's really fun. And that's nice because it's just like in person.
Yeah.
People can tell me all their little crazy stories of what happened to them. And I'm like,
Do people just trauma dump on you?
yeah, but that's okay.
Yeah, you don't mind it? Really?
Yeah.
You don't ever feel like you get caught in the are you able to cut a conversation?
Well, I'm not like traumatized currently. Currently, I feel very like out of it. And
no, I'm just
very,
saying.
Like, no, but when I am, but like when I did Mark Maron's podcast, and I like told my like whole full story for like the first time publicly, I was so scared. I don't know. I felt so like triggered and traumatized still, and like reliving it. So then everyone would send me their rape stories, and I was like, I can't do it. But now I don't.
Yeah.
But I always just tell people, I'm like, listen, just if you're gonna buy a shirt, like just do the transaction first. And then I'm like, cash or card, baby. Cash or card.
You want a bag for that?
Do you want to sign it? But then after we can do it. But I like it. I don't know. It's nice.
Yeah.
I do feel like it's like my life's mission, at least at this point, is to help people kind of heal from their trauma. So I like when they.
Sorry, I was going to let you go.
No, you're good. Listen, be interrupters.
Okay. Yeah. I just saw a meme the other day where someone was like, let's normalize like not telling a story about ourselves when someone like is talking about themselves. And someone posted, they're like, shut the fuck up. That's called having a conversation. What is it? What if I didn't try to relate to you?
There's no
or
right
to anyone
way
that I
to
talk
fucking
to.
be.
It's a little bit like, I mean, this guess what? The world is centered around yourself.
Well,
Because
you have
that's
to.
the only experience that you know.
Everyone
but
telling
also
you
that's
not to
how
be narcissistic too is like actually so fucked up because I was so worried about like I was trying so hard to not be a narcissistic kid like when I was younger.
That's my
that
parents
I ended up being more like it's like I was all in my head like did I listen enough? Did I let that talk long enough? You know?
Yeah.
It's just like I wasn't like living a normal life. And then I became so codependent and then I would be like I do this still and it always fucks me where like if I hire an assistant or someone, I'm always like, we're going to do this and we and our because I don't want them to feel like, and then all of a sudden it's like, they're like, where's my co-creator where's my credit for co-creating your life? You're like, what are you talking about?
I'm not really good at hiring people for that exact reason. I also can't tell them. Actually, do you know who you look like? You kind of look like Scarlett Johansson.
You're like, I know.
You actually do a lot. Do you get that?
Yes, I do get it. I do get it an awful lot most days. Less since her nudes leaked. But I am available for flat-titted Scarlett Johansson impersonation. By the way, we did a Baywatch themed episode of Trash Tuesday. It hasn't come out yet, but I like padded my bra and I like did like contouring and stuff. I gave myself giant tits.
Just
That's
huge.
so fun.
And I posted a picture and people in the comments that were losing them, they're like, what is it about you, my lady? Doc have
17
that.
marriage
Yeah,
proposals.
they're like, I'm down on one knee. My mother is waiting to meet you. What is it about you today? Like, it's fucking contour.
Your eyes look more
bronze.
sparkly.
Oh my God, those green eyes. I've never seen them before. Like, you guys are such dorks.
Do you have a pretty big male audience or more female? What do you think?
I do. I'm gaining my female audience, which is great. That is the most rewarding. But I like the guys too.
Do you think though that men get away with a lot more in comedy than women do?
I think there's a certain like lens on women, like where they're like, all women do is talk about their this. It's like nobody is like going, all guys talk about is this ever. Like you're just not grouping men in like that, really. Mm-hmm. I certainly like when they post a picture of me and a guy, the comments are a little bit different than a guy on them. But I guess I really want to like attract an audience of people who would like that someone is speaking openly.
Well, so
do you know what I mean? That's what I
yes.
just like. That's what. And then if the people that don't like that, like they're not going to like me anyway. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like,
And then if you don't stop doing it, then they'll stop listening.
yeah.
Which is then.
And I just want to just keep doing exactly what I want to do, and I'm trying to do that even more and more. Just not take on.
Yeah.
The
Other people's
outside,
expectations.
but that's why I love hypnosis and I love subconscious reprogramming. I'm always like trying to tell everyone about it because it's like it gives you a solution. My dad right now, he was just texting me about. I hooked him up with my hypnotist because he's like, my dad's 80. He's going to turn 81 at the end of the month.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's an old guy. And he's like still holding on to like guilt and stuff about things, like guilt from my childhood. I've been trying to work on a joke about how like people worry about their parents getting Alzheimer's and forgetting things. I'm like, how about having a parent that remembers the fucking I'm like, Dad, I forgive you. Jesus Christ, I didn't even remember you called me a bitch at my 4th grade.
He's just going through the list.
Like, Jesus Christ.
He's making amends.
That's kind of a beautiful thing though, because that it is true. Like some of the things that really like rack me with guilt that I think about, that person isn't thinking about like me anymore. And I think that's actually kind of like powerful. Sometimes it is.
Well, it's like
ruining
forgiving
someone's life,
yourself for it. Like my dad is still like her. I go, Dad, my dad's so charismatic. Everyone fucking loves him. I'm like, everyone in the world loves you except you. It's like, it's just, you have to love yourself. And it's like, you're in the evening of life. Like this is what you've worked for is to like
Enjoy
be able to,
it.
have this good time. So he met with her and it was just excited. He was so excited because he does all this other work on himself, but there's never just been something where you can just change the way you think.
Yes.
It's
I
just
do.
awesome.
I do brain spotting, which is kind of like it's the same sort of a same idea of like that subconscious reprogram, whatever you said. But I love it because I felt like I've talked about this on the podcast, but with talk therapy, I was like, first of all, why am I paying somebody for this when I can talk to my siblings or friends? Like I have a lot of outlets here.
And the last is my boyfriend.
And they keep sending me invoices, so I'm strapped for cash.
Not that I want to dump on them, but like I can talk through. I have no problem being vulnerable with the people in my life, right? And so I felt like I was just saying the same things to my therapist that I could to other people. And then she's like, well, what do you think? I'm like, okay, well, this is not like taking me anywhere. But then with brain spotting, it was like, whoa, I can focus on like my deepest insecurities, like the things that stifle me creatively. I related to you because I spent 8 years getting my art degree at UC Irvine. Took me a long time. And I still have so many narratives in my head of like, I'm not a real artist. I'll never be able, I never make art and all these insecurities related to that. So I never fucking make anything.
Hypnosis would fucking whip that out of you in a second.
I'll do that too. I love adding things to
whoop
my
your ass out
arsenal.
of it so fast too, because it's like, and even with like with art, it's so you. It's like what you're, because it's just
vulnerable.
yours. But it's like it's what you. It's your. This is another Jim Fortin thing, but like your value's at where you value yourself. It's not actually in the value of your work. It's just where you value you.
Yeah.
So like, especially in art, I have a friend, Brady Matthews, who he does like these kind of like crazy portraits of famous people. And I think Rogan has one, like Theo Von has one in the back of his. So I'm like, you already have the
platform.
You have all of the people you need.
Yeah.
You just need to raise your fucking prices.
You need to value yourself.
You need to value yourself higher.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just got to raise your fucking prices.
Well, and I've been targeting it in brain spotting. It's like I've actually started working on creative projects for the first time since I got out of art school. Like I would never do anything on my own unless it was an assignment, unless I would get the valation from the professor and from my peers, et cetera, and have the set deadline. But I could never. You get in a little. It's coming up.
Hurt. It got numb. It started getting numb.
Oh no, God, not the numb badge. Oh God.
It was getting all pinched. Oh my God.
Yeah, but I think with the hypnosis and all that, it's just so cool to have those tools at your disposal to like improve your life. And
it's crazy.
It's a hack.
And then the way you are is gonna make your kids just fucking automatically have that.
Yeah.
So
your kids are just gonna be like,
are you ready to be a boy mom?
I'm not ready, but I mean, I guess I am. Who knows?
So you did IVF or no?
I did. I did the freezing of the embryos
yeah.
and stuff.
And you have 4 boys. Yeah.
4 boys.
Isn't
that hilarious?
It seems like your destiny.
I know.
How do you feel about all that? Like, because you've done this now, like scientific process to extract your eggs to make embryos. But do you ever feel like this is my destiny calling? Like, look, I've made these embryos and they're all boys.
Because I would try to get naturally pregnant first.
Yeah.
And then if I couldn't, I just have those as like a backup.
Yeah.
And then, gender's weird, so who knows?
Right.
But who knows what you end up with.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Years in, we'll see.
Right.
But yeah, I guess I always, when I was like young, I really liked working with kids and I always liked the boys. Like I related to the boys more just because I think I had brothers and stuff. And then, but then like my nieces, I had nieces first. So I just like, it got me like in touch with my like girl side. I was like, oh my God, I love them.
Yeah.
And then, but then I had like a vacation just with my boys, with my nephews, where the girls couldn't come, and it was just like, oh my God, they're so cute. It was so fun. But yeah, I just think I'm not attached to any outcomes, and whatever happens will be the right thing.
When do you feel like you'll be ready though? Like when
I feel like it would have to be like in 2 years. I don't want to be too old.
Right.
2 years,
right.
most
What do
probably.
you feel like you're waiting for? Like the feeling, the
I
gut
think
feeling?
I'm waiting for a place in my career that feels like I want to own a house and stuff like that. Things are going well, but I don't want to like offset that. It feels like a fast trajectory to where my goals are.
Right.
Right. And a surprise pregnancy
Yeah.
we both had surprise situations. It
Yes.
can definitely rattle the cage a little
Yeah,
bit.
which is, listen, whatever happens will be the right thing, but
Right.
it's just like right now would be not. It would be a little bit of a cock block.
Why?
Career cock block. I just think because I'm like touring and
Yeah.
I'm around, and I did not take the IVF well,
Yeah.
so I can't imagine I'm going to be just a blessed.
Okay.
Even though I don't want to say that, no, I'm going to have an easy pregnancy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speak it
put
out.
it out
Speak it out.
there. Put it out
It's going to
there.
be easy,
Blissful.
easy, blissful, amazing.
It's just gonna
I'm
slide
always
right
like-
out of you.
I'm like, okay,
Yes.
I've always had horrific periods, but I had
Yeah.
a really easy pregnancy.
Yes.
So I'm like, all right, I don't
yeah,
know.
things are never.
It's
yeah.
never, yeah.
What do you
never
think you
know.
do when you get pregnant? Do you think you're gonna do like hospital birth, home birth? Do you have anything you want to do?
Well, at my age, they'll probably need. There's
You're
going to be
technically-
Time Magazine's going to be doing like an article on me.
You're technically a geriatric pregnancy.
Isn't that
I
the
know.
most fucking
That's so
upsetting?
offensive.
It's so funny.
I'm like, so
Because it's 35 and up, right? Which is
Yeah,
like,
it
come
is.
on,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
geriatric.
Yeah. I can understand 40. Come on, we're pushing it
but
here.
geriatric, I'm like, can we come up with a different fucking name? Like by the time, like I'm thinking I might want to
Even
have another
Jerry,
kid.
just
and
call
I'm
it
like,
Jerry.
Yeah,
pregnancy.
just call
Something
it
cute.
Jerry
It's a Jerry.
pregnancy.
We got a Jerry.
We got a Jerry here.
It's like this pregnant bitch is like coming from the crypt to give birth.
I
I'm
know.
like,
I
guys,
know.
come on.
But do you
I
have
know.
anything you want to do? Do you have any vision? Do you have any vision?
I
for your
think
birth?
I watched The Business of Being Born with my friends when they got pregnant like 55 years ago. And their children are now having kids. But so I was like, oh yeah, that seems cool. But then I don't know. I don't care. I don't know. Did you do home birth?
Yeah, and I did a birth center.
Okay.
I've got the hookups for your geriatric pregnancy
Yeah, I
midwife
would do that.
if you
I would
need
probably
it.
do that. I like the birth center, the in-betweeny.
I'll tell you this. You've done like ayahuasca before and you've done other psychedelics. You would prepare for, in my opinion, you prepare for birth in the same way that you would prepare to go into an experience like with ayahuasca.
Right.
You've got to prepare to surrender and release
Yes.
and just be on whatever path you're going to
Yes.
get taken on.
And
Yes.
you being on like the
So-
hypnotism route and everything
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Hypnobirthing is a thing. That's a whole,
Hypnobirthing.
that's a
I
whole
think I could crush it,
big
guys.
thing.
Honestly, I think I could crush it. And the reason I never wanted to be a mom before was, I really was like, I don't want kids. Because
Yeah.
I couldn't even let myself go there because I was still so like angry. And I was like, I don't want to like, I just knew I would be like an abusive,
Yeah.
like if I did it too early, like before
Yeah.
I'd worked through my shit. Because it's like my dad was so angry and he worked through his shit and now he's good. But that's what he's like dealing with now.
Right.
Is like
The guilt from
this
that.
guilt and all of that. And I'm like, Dad, because it all worked out. And also him being like mean to me when I was little really made
Look at
me
you now.
fucking hilarious. I'm like really like, Dad, thank you. This is really awesome. Thank you.
Wait, so that's why you didn't want to, but now you feel like
But
you,
now I feel like I could crush it. Like I think I would be such a good mom.
Yeah, I think you would
totally
too.
confident. Yeah.
You'd be an amazing mom.
Totally confident. I'm like, for a fucking boy, all right.
Okay, last thing.
4 of them.
I'm like,
4
Yeah,
of
what if-
them.
do you think you'll do more than one? when they put the embryos in? Do you think you put it in like
try
two?
to have twins or something?
Well, that's what they do sometimes. They're like, in case one doesn't
Yeah,
work
maybe.
out.
Why not? You just put them all in at once.
You know, that's what some doctors do. That's how you end up with people with like quintuplets.
Listen, this is why I was like, one guy wanted to do them for free. He wanted to freeze my eggs for free for like influencer type thing.
Oh.
And it's expensive, but I was like, I would rather spend the top dollar on those because I don't want him sperming up my fucking egg. You know what I mean? They get up like the fucking Netflix documentary.
He's like a big fan.
Oh my
He's like,
God,
Annie,
yeah,
I'll do
no.
your
It's just so
eggs.
weird.
I'll
I
get
know
it for
he reached out to
free.
me. I'm like, no,
He's like, you don't even have to post or anything. I got you.
It's fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna get in that puss.
Come to my house.
I'm gonna scoop out that badge. It was so crazy. Oh wait, I want to finish this story real quick. But so I went to the to Palm Springs with that girl and all of her girlfriends.
yes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Yes.
My friend calls me the minute I get there. Okay, so I'm all settled in and everything, and she goes, Annie, there's a fire in Burbank. I think it's gonna burn our house down. And I'm like, oh my God. And I hadn't been on drugs because I hadn't been smoking weed or anything because I'd had cluster headaches.
Right.
And all I had left there was my suitcase and a fucking oxygen tank, an explosive device, right? So I'm like, the oxygen tank. I'm like, how do you get the oxygen tank? And they're like freaking out. So this is like someone who I love to death, who's just done me the solid of like letting me stay at her house. Like we had a great time. It was really fun, but
Yeah.
letting me stay in their space. Finally, they just moved in. So it was like they're finally gonna have their time alone. They're sending me pictures of them like trying to enjoy they're in a hot tub and there's like a fire in the background. They're like cheers and like could be the last day of our house, like crazy, right? So then I'm like, should I go back? And then one of the women, they all just started to like, there was a girl everyone hated that they were going to invite. And then the girl uninvited her because she was like, we hate you.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, good. We're not going to have any problems.
It's gonna
And then
be easy.
I started to slowly feel the target. It was just like a swinging. And the one girl and I went, oh my God. So I was smoking weed. So I was like panicked. I think I'd just taken a mushroom chocolate too. And I was in the bathroom pulling the trigger like, I gotta get.
Oh, no.
I can't be tripping while my friend's house is
I've been
burning
there.
down.
I've been there.
Was
My
it 4
God.
Is it 4 hours away? How far away is Palm Springs? Like 4 hours or something, right?
3.
It was enough.
Oh,
where it was
with
like,
traffic.
Right.
I don't know. That is
the
horrifying.
oh, man.
So I'm throwing it. So I'm like, oh my, what am I going to do? And then I'm like trying to get counsel from
oh
these
God.
fucking bitches. I'm like, my friend's house is burning down. And
like typical Annie.
yeah, they're like, ugh, making it about you.
They're like,
And
you
I'm
left
like,
your oxygen tank there.
Yeah, they're
She's
like, we
such a
get it. You have
narcissist.
well, the other thing I know, isn't it when they deem you a narcissist, you're fucked. You're like, okay.
You're no
Like,
longer a human with rights at
but
that
so
point.
my friend had always wanted those gold balloons for her birthday. So I went and got her.
With
It was
the
her
numbers?
name. Yeah, so I got her
yeah.
one that was like, I got what they had. I got the like really expensive. I had no money. I was living on my friend's couch. Okay. I spent my last dollars on this girl's like balloons. It's always your like sign that there's something wrong with you. My last dollars on someone else. But I'm a narcissist. But it said like homegirl's name and it said is 30 as fuck. I did AF. So I had this for her.
Damn, that's a lot of balloons.
Right,
too.
it was a lot of balloons. It was like
Very
$250.
expensive.
And so I go to I found a Party City by the rental house. I drove to it. I've stuffed my car. Like I'm almost going to die there. I can't see. I'm like just driving. Like I hope I don't die. I can't see out of any window.
And you're like in cluster headache world too.
I've just gotten out where I haven't even seen people. I haven't seen people. I have no relation to anyone. I had messaged the girl's manager. I was like, hey, I just want to let you know I got her like the gold balloons just in case someone else didn't. She goes, wow, Annie for the win. And I'm like,
Whoa.
I'm not kidding. But I'm like, why am I? First of all, you're her manager, bitch. Like, I'm her friend. Like,
Yeah,
why
like,
would you be competing with me? But also, it's just like, you can get them if you want. Like, I just.
Also, I swear to God, driving after a cluster headache, like even if you're
That
not
seems
feeling it anymore,
dangerous.
I feel like I get so anxious
Yes,
and in
you're
my
so
head where I'm like,
upset.
oh my God, is something about to like, I'm about to get hit out of nowhere with another headache
Oh no, you
while
can't
I'm
drive.
driving?
I don't drive for a month straight.
No,
you can't drive because you'll die. You'll die, and everyone around you will die.
And so, like all of a sudden, like when I start driving, I start thinking, I'm like, oh shit. So you're packed
when you
with
think they're
fucking
gone,
balloons.
is there anything sadder?
Oh, no.
You think they're gone? You're in the grocery store. You start to feel you go. Oh, you're just like sobbing. And
Dude,
What the hell is that though? What is that?
It's horrible.
What is
Do
it?
you have TMJ?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I've been going to a TMJ specialist. He does not talk to me at all about cluster
That's
headaches.
so
but-
funny you said that because I was just wondering why the hell I never put the headphones on because they fuck with my TMJ.
I know,
And then
I-
I was looking at both of you weren't wearing it. I'm like, why am I never
know,
wear the headphones. They
That
mess
was
with my
cute,
TMJ. Thanks. And my hair was not
Cute
doing the
little
thing
can.
today. So
I started, I went to this guy, this dentist. So I actually have a mouth guard.
Oh,
that
Keep
I wear
it
every day, but it
in
gives
your
me
back
like a
pocket?
list.
I need to get mine.
But so I'm supposed to wear this for 12 weeks. He's like, you don't have a lisp. I'm like, okay, thank you, sir. Fucking assholes. My whole career, you fucking sabotaging me. fucking everything you have to say has an S in it once you have a lisp. Did you know that? So I have this. I have one I have to wear it at night that
One of the big ones.
binds my
Yeah.
mouth shut. It binds it shut. And I'm supposed to put tape over my mouth, but I just wake up with the tape in my hair.
Have you ever gone to?
Over the mouth.
Well, because
It's a little bit of a kink,
it's
but also
open. I know. I'm like, hey, Todd.
you're like,
Cut a hole and stick your dick in it. But so I could feel them starting to like, so that girl that already said the like, Andy
Right,
for the
right,
win.
right,
I'm like,
right.
you're in a paranoid state. You've not
No.
spoken to people. You have not related to people in a month. You're crazy.
no.
So finally I'm just going all the way to this place. Like I'm driving and I'm just trying to make this girl have the best birthday she can. And everyone's brought mushrooms and stuff like that. So so my friend's house is burning down and I'm just like, oh my God, what? I'm like having a fucking panic attack. I'm like, should I go back? I don't know what to do. Cause she didn't tell me to come back. So I was like, am I going to be like helpful or not? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, do they need me to come like move their furniture out?
Yeah.
Like,
Why would you go back?
to like help them not have their house burned down? I don't know what I would do. Put
To remove
water,
the tank.
throw water. I don't know. Like just like one cup of toilet water at a time. And just like, I don't know. I was just like, so then I was like, should I go? And the manager lady goes, yeah, Annie, that's what they want. Their annoying house guest back. Yeah, I bet that's what they want. So then I got in my head, I go, oh my God, I shouldn't have been a house guest. Like I was a house guest too long and their house is burnt. They didn't even get time in their house. All this stuff. I'm just like freaking out. And then this woman
bitch.
again,
Oh, no.
she's like, we get it, Annie, like enough or whatever. And I'm like, and I just looked at her and I went, listen, bitch, okay? I'm not gonna fucking have you shame me for being worried about my fucking friend's house burning down.
Yeah, you did.
You're the one that told me to fucking stay, bitch. Like I would have gone. I should have just left is what I
What'd she
should have
say?
done. And she was like, and then she pouted and stayed in another room in a dark room by herself for the rest of the time. She was also doing a thing where she had like a fanny pack of all the mushrooms. She'd be like, okay, do you want to like see dragons or do you want to? I'm like, bitch, give me some mushrooms, you cunt. You're not my shaman.
yeah.
I am so
She had
happy
already
that you're
taken
not
us-
friends with this person
She
anymore.
took us.
God
She had
bless.
already taken us to this like. It was supposed to be like a psychedelic retreat. It was by the airport. I'm like, hello, why am I by the airport? I thought we were going to fucking Joshua Tree or something. We were in fucking by the airport at these rich people's house, and it's like, who are you? They gave us like sassafras, which is like
Yeah.
a legal version
Molly.
of Molly, pretty
Yeah.
much. And like, you know, they're playing music and they're supposed to be helping you like all this stuff. And it was like a woman's retreat. So it was all these same bitches. And then this woman's husband with Botox, like a man with Botox. I mean, it's fine. But so he's like upstairs and then she goes, all right, and now we're going to bring the divine masculine down if you want that. All of us have been molested at this point.
No
okay?
way.
Half the girls
She's
are
calling
lesbians.
him the divine masculine.
Yes,
Him, the divine
I'll
masculine.
decide who the divine masculine is. It's me.
Oh my
It's
God.
this side of my body. Okay?
She said, now we're going to bring him down when he comes in
then
a white
he
robe.
was coming down. So he came down, in like in dad jeans, but he comes down and then he's like, I swear to God, he like, cause so he like spooned me from behind, yes, and then breathed in my ear and so I'm like, is this like, are you kidding me? Like you just have a boner in my ass? Like, what is this? Like, why are, and I just was like, really? And I was like, you need to get off me. And then she was trying to explain something to me and he spoke over her and started talking for her. And I go, I'm not interested in what you have to say.
Divine
I came
masculine.
to a woman's retreat. And then she spent the
What
rest
the
of the night
fuck?
going, you have a problem with men. You
Oh
have
my
issues
God.
with men. Like, you need
is
to
a
like,
nightmare.
I'm like, bitch, you have issues with men because you just let this man fucking take over your whole retreat and say he's the divine masculine and lay on top of all these fucking lesbians. Half the girls were lesbians. Like, can you get this guy the fuck
No,
off
it's like,
me?
please.
So this bitch that was like, do you want to see dragons? Well, I don't want a man to be the divine masculine and put his boner on my ass like last time, bitch. So how about that? But so she got like shamaned by those people. So then she was taking on this role of shaman.
Right.
I hate people that think they're a shaman. It's so annoying.
Right.
But so,
Only your 10 are the shamans.
but I mean, this guy's been doing it since he was fucking born. So I'm like, I trust him.
Yes.
Tell me more about what does he do for you? What does he do for you?
Well, I just started working with him. I had to do these bath ceremonies where he like prescribed me a certain amount of like herbs and like lime slices and stuff. And I would have to sit in the bath, soak in these like ingredients for 9 days. I did it. And then I have to light these certain candles and put cups of water with like different ingredients in it, like facing the north and stuff. Like everything was. And then I just started having crazy ass dreams. And then he just meets you and you have a call with him and he meets you in dreamland. I'll get you. You can get on the list.
Whoa.
You got to do the Jim Fortin stuff too. It's
No, I will.
crazy.
I definitely will.
But yeah, no, he's it's really cool.
Do you ever get anxious about that stuff though? Maybe it's because
I don't want to be in a cult. Yeah.
Not like that. No, I don't get anxious about that. I'd like to think that I would know. I don't know if I would know. Do you think you would be?
I would know.
I don't think I.
Sometimes you just go, it's not bad yet.
I don't think I'm in the vulnerable. I
think it could happen to me.
Yeah.
I'm of cult
Yeah.
susceptible.
Well, have you watched any of the cult documentaries?
Well, you seem super nice, and like I'll believe it.
All the cult documentaries are like the first 2 episodes are like Scientology seems pretty chill.
I'm just like, I don't know. I'm kind of connecting with this. I don't see anything
Who was the guy in the
wrong with
desert?
it.
I like the Waco guy.
Yes.
I was into it until
God.
things went.
Oh my
things
God.
So I
went
started
south.
fucking everyone's wives.
Yeah.
So bad. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, I'm never gonna pee again. My vagina has been shoved so far up my own body.
Go ahead.
But anyway, yeah. But so these fucking girls, so they all like, I can just start feeling it, and I'm high for the first time in like months. So I'm like, just so paranoid. I kept sitting out in my car and talking to my dad on the phone and being like, he's like, stay away from these people. They don't want good things for you. He goes, hey, get away from them. They're crazy.
I had a similar situation. Well, not actually that similar, but I had a like breakdown of a friendship in Palm Springs with this really, really hot girl that I met in college. And at the time, I've talked about this before on the podcast a long time ago, but at the time I was like not in a good place. I'd come from a really horrible breakup. I was really insecure. I didn't have any friends. I had horrible acne like all over my face. I was just like not very like, I wasn't secure in myself. And she was like, she was really beautiful, like just beautiful.
Yeah, I know those people where you're like, why am I allowed to talk to you?
Right, exactly. Why are you letting me into your space? I was kind of like obsessed with her in that way. Anyway, I had moved out of Irvine. We went to UC Irvine together. Moved back I'm from Fresno. Moved back to Fresno.
Oh, Amber Fry too.
Really?
The girlfriend of Scott Peterson, who killed his wife.
Oh yeah,
wife,
yeah. Also, Kevin Federline.
Oh, good ones. That's cool. You're the star. You're the star.
Yes, thank you, everybody. So, anyway, I kind of like I went home to like re-up my energy, right? Like I was home in Fresno for 10 months. I was like, okay, time to get back out of here. I got a boyfriend during that time. I dyed my hair blonde at that time. I was feeling myself. She invites me to a weekend girls trip in Palm Springs. There's like 8 of her other friends who I'd never met before. And on that trip, I start noticing, talk about cult-like behavior. I noticed she's telling all the other girls with giving fashion advice that's like deliberately bad before we go out. They're like, which one looks better on me? And I'm like, objectively, it's that one. And she knows it. And she's like, definitely that one. And I'm like, kind of noticing all this stuff happening. And then when we were out by the pool, she's like, Becca, go get the speaker inside the house. And I was like, no. And she did not like that. After that weekend, blocked me on everything on social media and blocked my number. And I never heard from her again.
Because those type of people need you to be like looking up to them. And that's kind of how that girl was too. Like, all these people were kind of her like minions and stuff, but she was all fucked up. So then all these other people just took over too.
Right. I never noticed though until like.
But I just realized, I go, wait, I got her a lot of birthday presents. She never got me one.
Right.
You know what I mean? Things where it's like,
This
and it's fine
balanced.
if you want to be that person, but it definitely was just like, oh wait, I'm putting my life in danger to get you balloons you want. Oh, by the way, the manager. So I got those balloons and stuff. The manager goes.
Wait, so it was not the manager was being a mean girl on behalf of the head honcho.
The head
girl.
honcho, yeah,
Okay.
but she was all fucked up and floating off on like she was like getting a suntan and or sunburn. And then so the manager, I forgot about this. So I go, do you like your balloons? And I was like telling the story about how I almost died.
Did you end up going back to the house?
I was at the house the whole time.
No, the burning house.
The burning house. I did right after the weekend was over. I went back and my friend was like. I was like, were you mad at me? And she was like, Annie, I was not thinking about you. I was in the thing. And I go, would you have wanted me? She goes, I thought the whole time how fun it would have been if you were there because you would have been being funny the whole time.
Oh, that's.
And I was like, oh, because I thought you didn't want me to. She goes, I was just like in a fire. But she was like, I would have loved if you were there.
Oh
and I was like, I should have just trusted my instinct to go. But that girl made me feel like my friend hated me or something.
You were a burden.
And that they were like going to be mad that I took their like time and their house away from them.
Wow. I mean, that's just a life lesson in itself.
Yes,
that moment.
Follow your intuition.
Yes,
Always.
Yes.
Well, I'm reading. So the Florence Scovel Shinn book I'm reading is all like, what I was going to say is I keep saying the Lord because it's all about God, but I look at it as like the spirit, spirit guides or whatever. So I'm not religious like that, but in that they're saying like your higher consciousness or your super consciousness is your intuition. Like that's always the direction you should be going.
We did this past life regression, and the woman would say, do that. Yeah, we can give you her number. Yeah. She would go, super conscious, take over, like whatever, super conscious, take us where we need to go. Speaking that, my boyfriend had a crazy one.
Really?
Yeah.
What was he?
He was like a Native American woman who was like attacked and had these horrible things happen to her and was pregnant and then died in childbirth. He was like weeping. It was really dramatic. It was really intense.
You were like, but did you hear about mine? He's like, I'm still in it. You're like, no.
I was baby that got
kidnapped. Is it the worst
kidnapped.
when someone has like a way worse, like, or like a crazier trip and you're like, do I get to tell my story? Like,
Yeah.
they're like,
You're, like,
"That's
sitting there
mine." I'm
just
like,
like-
oh, mine was fun. I was like hanging out with some aliens and
You did have a good. I was an alien.
She was an alien.
I can see it.
Well, this is so serious. This is what everyone says because you're Aquarius. So they're all
I don't do
aliens.
that. Oh, you know what I was going to say? Fuck. Mercury retrograde.
No, I liked it.
No, I don't accept
You
it.
say
But I
you
was going to say,
liked
I
it?
don't take on Mercury retrograde. When
You
people are
reject
like,
it.
I reject it. Don't give me your fucking voodoo. I don't want, that's a bad, you're
No.
cursing me.
I mean, things kind of went, but I liked it because it dredged up like a lot. It brought a lot. It forced me to bring a lot of things to the surface spiritually that I didn't want to deal with. And then by the end of Mercury retrograde, I was like, I have to deal with this. Like,
Yeah.
I can't ignore it. Like, if I can't. I have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And so, like, I've just been dealing with that kind of stuff spiritually. And then it's like the past week, because it ended like last Thursday, it's like opened the doors where I'm like, the hills are alive. And just like spiritually, I'm just like, yes. But I love it.
I just love getting through a hard time and then the light feeling. If you guys were listening to my last podcast where I ate the bug and stuff, I like love doing like a thing I'm scared. It's like my favorite
So you'll
thing.
love birth.
Yes.
I love, yeah.
You're going to
Yes, I will.
love giving birth. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love
will.
a challenge.
I would.
That's
yeah, I
why-
like it. Yeah, just to be like, I did it.
Do you do things? I bug the shit out of my boyfriend because I always go like, so do you want to do like 30 days where we
Becca
don't do
loves
any
a
eating out?
goddamn
Like, do you want to do like,
challenge.
100 days
Yes, I
of
love
like
I'll
being
do challenges
sober?
with
Like,
you.
yeah,
I'll do
I
challenges.
She
love,
loves a challenge.
love
I
it.
know
I'm
it's
always like-
fun. No, it's fun.
I'm like, I love a challenge that I love.
have you ever gone to one of the silent
I
retreats?
want to so
Me
bad. But
too.
I can't imagine I'd get through it. I can't. I think the TMJ is from not ever talking.
But do you think
you
you can write?
imagine
Do you
how-
think you can write notes?
You're not allowed to write notes.
Are you serious?
You're not allowed
have
to make eye contact.
You can't look at each other.
I mean, can I
Imagine
watch
how
a
good,
bodyguard?
imagine how good the
I'm
TMG
like,
would be. The
can I
TMG would be
watch a
so
bodyguard?
much better.
Yeah.
The TMG would be
You would
so
have
much
to
better.
physically, so that you'd have to do the one that seals your
Please?
mouth at night.
Yes. Oh my God. The tape. Can I bring my
you
mouth
can't-
tape?
Wait, you can't look at each other, Jess?
No, you can't make eye contact. You can't. So you don't want to do it
can't
with a
you make
friend.
eye
Because you're
contact?
supposed to be like alone. It's like a retreat.
Into yourself. Some guy at a coffee shop was like, he's like, so you're looking into Vipassana or whatever it's called, Vipassana
Yeah.
retreats. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, what do you think you're going to find? And I hate when people ask you a question like that because like, I was like, like,
Well,
I really want to do a comedy special. I thought maybe it would like help me kind of drudge out that. And he's like, no. And I go, okay, there's a right answer. What is it?
Yeah.
And he goes, you're going to find you. I go,
Yeah,
okay.
no, I was waiting for
you're
that.
like
Hit the road, brother.
I'm like, I'm
Hit
looking
the
to try not to
road.
like use a lot of facial expressions so I can go down on the Botox and like naturally like not be
Yes.
increasing the lines.
I want to do it. I do want to do it, but it's a long time. You have to go for like 2 weeks. I don't
Yeah,
have
the first
time
one's
to do
2
that.
weeks or 10 days. Wait, the greatest thing that ever happened though, this is the best part of the pandemic, when Jared Leto was in one of those and he came out a week
That
later.
was wild.
And he was like, the world. And I'm like, it's so funny. It's your fault, Jared. You did it.
You're like, this
one
is
likes
all
him.
on you.
But I got to tell you, him as Jordan Catalano, did you watch My So-Called Life?
Oh, I mean, he was
It was
The-
like, I
the
can't.
hottest.
It's like and it's as that character, he couldn't read, he was illiterate. It's really why I dated losers. Like that show has a lot of explaining to do. It really
he
fucking.
was so sexy.
He was the hottest thing that's ever. I always try to explain it to my boyfriend where I'm like, I'm not like him now is like, there's this weird shell of a thing I loved. And I'm always trying to like,
I know.
can't find
I know.
it in him anymore.
You're trying to search for it now, and it's
Yeah.
just like every story I hear, I'm always like,
Oh, it's terrible.
Well, but what about
all
Jordan?
Bad.
Yes.
It's all bad.
Oh, it's all
He used to
bad.
climb at the climbing gym that my boyfriend worked at. And his
Do you
assistant, Yeah, that's how we met.
Oh, really? I want to climb.
I don't really
I
climb
get my
anymore.
nails cut
Come down
off.
to Long
I know,
Beach.
it's like I can't.
Yeah.
No, but when you start, you're going to be having to grow. They're called jugs. You're going to have to be
Yeah.
grabbing onto the big jugs, and
sounds
so your
hot.
nails won't even touch the wall.
Love that.
Yeah, but then crimping. I know about. I've done some. I've done some climbing in my day.
There you go.
No, I had a guy that I was like, who was like, we're not boyfriend girlfriend. I'm like, we have climbing memberships together. I was like, what?
Where'd you go?
I was like,
Where'd you
I
go?
live here.
You're like, we bought a
I
home
live
together.
At your house. We went to the one in Burbank.
Okay.
And the one in Hollywood.
Yeah, that's where. Okay, so
I never did the Culver City one though.
Yeah, all Touchstone gyms. That's where my boyfriend used to work. He worked at LA Boulders, and yeah, Jared Leto would go in, and then his assistant would come in and go, "Is Jared here?" And they're like, "Jared who?" He's like, Jared. Like,
So
that
funny.
isn't that terrible?
Well, the girl who I went on that evil trip with.
Yeah.
And then, so by the way, then we all like marched and wore the pussy hats and stuff. And then they got mad at me and they were like, "You're done." And they all blocked me. I was just like,
they canceled you.
Yeah, I got canceled, but who cares? But I like see her still sometimes. And I smoked weed with her the other night. But she, what was I going to say about?
I thought you said you weren't friends with any of them anymore.
Well, they're comics, so they're just around.
Oh, okay.
But this was years ago. And then she moved to LA. She got passed at the Comedy Store and she moved to LA. And I was like, because she just like ghosted and was done being, she was like, or she didn't ghost, she sent me a thing like, "I'm done with this friendship." And I was like, okay.
Right.
And it hurt my feelings in the beginning. And then, it was.
And then
a
you
beautiful
remembered the
thing.
trip.
Yeah, I was like, thank God. But so she would stomp around me at the Comedy Store. She'd be like, and it's like years. I'm like, girl, you're in my house. Like, this is my home. Like, welcome. You're welcome to have this be your home too. But like, you're never going to put me in a bad mood. Like, you're never going to find me. Like, you're not going to I'm not going to have a weird thing at the Comedy Store. This is my spot. Mm-hmm. So I had to like pull her aside and say that. I go like, I don't know what is your issue. I don't know why you stopped being friends with me. I'm all good with it. I'm not interested in being friends with you, but this stomping has to go. It's like, what? It's useless. Mm-hmm. And she's like, really?
Are you talking about literal stomping?
She would literally stomp. She'd be like, by me. I used to call her a forever teen because she was always like slamming doors. And so I was like, okay. But I think she like put me in like a mom position where it's like I'm supposed to be putting her before myself or whatever. And it was just like, girl, this friendship is exhausting. But anyway, so she came back and I was like, oh, congrats on getting passed. And she's like, thanks for being nice to me. I was like, I've never not been nice to you. There's never been. And she's like, well, you weren't talking shit. I was like, dude, the regular amount of shit we all talk on each other. Yes, I was talking the exact same amount of shit that you were talking on me. I was talking on you. Grow up. The way we met was at a festival where we were both like hated all the same people and we're just trashing people together. I'm like,
you're like, this is how it started.
Like,
so this is going to be how, yeah.
Guys, I've got to go because I've got to go. My babysitter's leaving at 3:30,
Okay.
so I've got to wrap this. Thank you so much for joining the
Let's hang out. Let's do a challenge.
I'm like, I'll
I'll
join the challenge if it's not the last challenge that
You know what was
Becca
my last
threw at
challenge
me.
was? I
was
said,
it?
let's not do any eating out or takeout
She
for a
told me
month.
no fucking takeout, and this girl knows that I
takeout's
can't.
really
I don't
hard.
cook.
I think it's a really
I don't cook either.
But a challenge isn't supposed to be easy.
But do you cook already?
I do.
Yeah. I just make my boyfriend do everything. He will raise my children for me.
My boyfriend definitely cooks a lot too. But yeah, I mean, it's but it's not that you don't have to be a chef. You just have to cook yourself fucking rice and scrambled eggs. I will do a challenge with you. I
will eat whatever. I will hang off of whatever. But I just can't stop ordering takeout. It's impossible.
Do you guys sleep with your mouths open?
Oh, absolutely. Or
Maybe
clenched shut.
Yes, I know. I honestly, okay, so this guy, you got to go to this doctor because he takes a whole CT scan of you.
Oh,
he shows you what's going on in there.
I need that. Do you watch the Kardashians?
I don't.
God, why? It's so good.
I'll watch it. Esther watches
the Hulu show is. You like reality TV? This is one
I don't know why that one I don't.
No. Keeping up with
we had rejected it, and then we tried
Keeping up with the Kardashians is like whatever. It never caught my attention.
Well, then Ray J was like, that didn't happen. I was like,
okay, I know, but they hired a documentary filmmaker to make this Hulu series.
Yeah.
It is so
very good,
captivating.
Yes. Is Pete in it yet?
Yes, he's just started being in.
I've known him since he was fucking 15.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
That has to be a trip.
It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
like,
Oh my God, Pete.
What's your take on their relationship?
I
think that's how literally everyone feels about it, even including them.
Like, good for you, Pete. I mean, the Ariana Grande thing was crazy. It just keeps getting crazier.
No, it's just more.
There's
and
no
more
one
intense.
else for him to do. Like, who else
In
can
the
he date?
last
He's the most
episode,
famous person alive.
she's on FaceTime. Like, look at my private plane. Look at everything. I did it all in white. She did the inside of her plane in cashmere. Like the luggage things covered in white cashmere.
Oh my God! Did you guys see my new Louis?
Wow.
Yes, it's so
you're one step away from a private plane with cashmere.
Yes, we love the money. Kiss the money.
Well, I went into the Louis Vuitton store and I was testing my manifesting powers, and I went, do I want this?
Yeah.
And I went, yeah. So I bought them.
Oh,
right. You have to kind of gauge that, right? You're like, am I just doing it to do
What
it,
am I doing this
do I
for?
want it? Yeah. Anyway, Annie, thank you.
Trash Tuesday podcast.
Trash Tuesday. See me on the road.
really fun.
AnnieLederman.com/shows. It's fun.
Doing lots of shows.
So fun. Love to meet you. I'm really good at stand-up. It's really
She is
fun.
very good at stand-up.
Very good at it. We laughed the whole time.
If people actually do want to like learn about you, like would it be the Mark Maron podcast to listen to? What do you think?
God, if you want to go through that, I mean, that's pretty traumatizing. It's horrific. And I'm talking about my ex-boyfriend. I'm like, I believe in God because of him. Now I'm like, if he comes in, we're like, the devil.
And with that, chat soon, broads.
Oh my God, you guys, can I do this every week?